Blessings, everybody out there in the universe. My name is Sean Myrie, and I'm your host of the Down to Earth podcast. Today, I got a great artist coming through. Bless up to all of you. Yup, Devious, the Devious one, coming through live and direct. You know, just waiting for a special guest to tune in. Remember, you could subscribe to all the channels, all the links. Bless up, Devious. Yeah, man. Let me send this out. See where you at. Connect. IG live. Devious one. Let's see. What you saying, brother?
Yo, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate you having me on your platform. Love what you're doing. Love that you're supporting indie artists. I tune in regularly. And I just straight up love what you guys are doing, man. Hip hop since the day we die, right?
Respect. That's what we are. Hip hop original. You know, we're not faking it. You know, we're just making it. And you know what? No matter what, because we're a real podcast, if it's on YouTube or it's IG, the whole key is getting the story and the audio. You know what I mean?
Not only that, but you wanna do what you're doing and bouncing back between different platforms. You know what I mean? Like it's just you never know where people are using. Like some people use YouTube more, some people use Instagram more. So it's good to live on all spaces, man. Because like man, you just want to get your stuff out there and build the audience and the people.
But now I know to play with it. I know to play with them both. You get what I mean? I have a new format. You guess what? You'll see as we get into it, like how I promote, right?
Yeah, no, that's good.
So tell the people a little bit about yourself, like where you're from, you know?
I go by Devious One, aka Mickey Blunt. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. I grew up in the city. I was born in Scarborough, raised in Brampton, spent my teen and 20s out in Wasaga and Collingwood. Then I migrated back to the city because of music. It's just not worth living in a small town trying to pursue music. You're just better being off in the big city or fucking off to LA or Atlanta or whatever. So yeah, man, just been doing this music thing for a long time. I started off as a DJ at a young age, put the turntables down, picked up the pen and pad, and just doing my thing and just trying to make music with a message and have fun at the same time.
So when did I say this is my new question, my super question I was put in front. I don't even go deep too long into the convo. I'm gonna ask you, when did you fall in love with hip hop?
Hey man, it's like it was yesterday, man. It was like 91. I think it was 91, and somebody put me on to Big Daddy Kane, Taste of Chocolate, and he gave me the tape, and hip hop's consumed my life ever since. I started off listening to Playboy rappers like LL Cool J and Big Daddy Kane, but then because it consumed my life, I quickly gravitated towards more of the Cool G raps, the more conscious rappers. You know what I mean? 90s was the golden era to me, just like classic rock. The 70s was the golden era to some of our parents. So yeah, I mean, growing up in hip hop and just watching it all happen in real time. As a child, when I'm most impressionable, you know, the Smith and Wesson, the Shining album, Black Moon, you know what I mean? Like, there's just so much good hip hop coming out in that time that even in the 2000s and late 2000s, I was putting people on to shit in the 90s that they never heard before. You know what I mean? That's how much good shit was coming out. You know what I mean? So it literally just consumed my life. And that's, like I said, I started off as a DJ at 16. So, you know, everybody wanted to come to my house because we were going to rap over instrumentals or they get to scratch records or whatever. You know what I mean? So having two turntables and a mixer definitely opened up my eyes to how to make music. You know what I mean? Like beats per minute and like things vibing and blending together nicely. I used to do like the Bretta Blends mixtape where I would take, you know, instrumental from one song and take a acapella from a different song and blend them together. So like, yeah, man, it was a learning curve for me. And it got me to enjoy what I love, music. You know?
So how much projects have you dropped since you been doing hip hop?
When I put down the turntables and I picked up the pen and pad, I did about a half dozen mixtapes from 2010 is when we started recording, but we didn't put out our first mixtape until 2011. So half a dozen mixtapes. And then in 2018, I put out my first professional EP on all streaming platform called World Demise. And then A few years later, we dropped the follow-up EP, Survival. So that's what I just been kind of like working towards right now, is moving the vinyl that I got made for the first album, and then I'm trying to keep my hustle on so that I can get some more vinyl made for a 7-inch vinyl for Survival. I would like to put How You Feel on one side and put Forbidden Fruit on the other side, because those seem to be the most liked songs from everybody. So you might as well cater to your fan base, right?
True.
So the Forbidden Fruit joint was super political and had multiple interests to be remixed. Swan Flu Music did a remix, Joey Violin did a remix, and so it's just been super blessed, because like at the end of the day, like you just make music and you're nervous as fuck putting it out there because you know people are going to judge you, you know people are going to shit on you, but it's what's great about it, what's the rewarding part, is when people come to you and be like, yo, that song was dope, that was powerful, you're saying some shit in it, you know what I mean? Because Forbidden Fruit's pure about corrupt, capitalism and corrupt politicians. So like a lot of people can look at it and be like, yeah, we living in that moment right now, you know what I mean? Like it's a lot of fucked up shit going on with regards to everything that's happened in the last, like, even going back to when Trump was first elected, you know what I mean? Because that affected Canada a lot. So that's what actually inspired me to write World Demise. The world's going to shit. We have Donald Trump as a fucking president. Like, nothing I hate more than white rappers getting behind Trump and being a Trump supporter. You know what I mean? Like, let me get in the DMs. Let me talk shit to them, because, like, I want to school them motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be out here pushing that kind of rhetoric while partaking in a art form where you're a guest. You know what I mean? Like white rappers that are Trump supporters, like
I think there is.
There's
I don't
lots.
know. I don't know. I can't target them, honestly. Maybe if I start listening more. But I know what you're saying, probably.
You just kind of like, you get out there, you find some music you like, white rappers, black rappers, doesn't matter their color, you know what I mean? But then you follow their personal accounts on Instagram and Facebook, and then you see some of the shit they're posting. It's not about what there's maybe necessarily in the music, but it's the rhetoric that they're posting on their personal pages. You know what I mean? White lives matter, or all lives matter, or some shit like that.
I'm gonna ask you what you think about Canadian hip hop, like right now, like not just Toronto, just all of the whole thing. Like,
what do I think about Canadian hip hop?
Yeah,
man, I've always been a big fan of Canadian hip hop, man. Even back in the '90s when I got put onto the American stuff, I quickly, was super proud about the Cardinals, the Maestros, Socrates, Ghetto Concept. Like Ghetto Concept, Easy on the Motion is probably still one of my all-time favorite songs. That shit's on heavy rotation.
Yeah, even just for hip-hop.
Just
for hip-hop for me.
Yeah. So today, I think there's so much talent coming out of Canada, especially with hip hop and the urban scene, with reggae, R&B, with New Music Tuesday. As you know, I have a Facebook group, and I just want to help indie artists. I don't want to call myself a promoter. I just wanted to create a group where people can self-promote, and I can help use marketing and strategic strategies to get them more seen and more heard, because all these groups are all doing the same thing. You post.
You know what? That's how I started. But as an artist, I would share some info, and I haven't been on Facebook like I abandoned that for a while, I have to admit. But I realized that's a market, even for a mature, for example, podcast listener or supporter. You promote on there, which we've been back on Facebook. Like I'm on Facebook, Sean Myrie. But yeah, it gets the algorithm because you got more people who are there less, I guess, they'll pay attention a little bit more, because the younger generation.
It's just different platforms do different things. Like, let me give you an example why I use Facebook for my New Music Tuesday platform. Facebook gives you tools to help grow your group. Some people don't use those tools to grow the group. They use those tools in selfish ways. So this is something that Instagram doesn't do. So they have a feature called @everyone. And if you're a group creator or you're an admin of a group, you can use the @everyone once per day in your group. So it has a limit to how many times you can use it, but there's other things that you can use that doesn't have a limit, like pinning a post to the top of the page of the group. So instead of me just using that on my music or my friend's music, I do use it on my music and my friend's music, but I want other people to take advantage of it. So in order to grow my group, I trade group invites out for using those tools on their posts. So you post in my group, you use the hashtag. You use the hashtag New Music Tuesday. That's the only rule of the group. And then you're going to post in a group like that normally, and you're going to see like a couple of people like, maybe a share, maybe a comment. But if you have me use the @everyone on your
That's good.
post after sending out 20 invites, you're going to see 20 to 30 likes. You're going to see 4 or 5 shares. You're going to see like 10 comments. So it just helps boost the post. And that's something that Instagram doesn't do. Like all you could do on Instagram is go and tag a bunch of people.
Yeah.
But if you do that too many times,
Yeah.
Instagram will flag you for spamming, right? So it's all about being strategic. And like I get a lot of slack for making people use the hashtag New Music Tuesday. It's probably going to get me killed one day, but I don't really give a fuck, because like I just want to see artists get seen. And if we all are using the hashtag, that means that hashtag is going to get all our posts seen, because eventually we're going to have 10K members in the group. Like right now I'm at 2K, but one day I aim to be at 10, 20K, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so if everybody that's participating in that group is using that hashtag, we're going to be moving up in the algorithms, right? So everybody's post with hashtag New Music Tuesday is going to be a little bit more visible.
And the whole key is to this is like, when I was talking the other day about infrastructure, you need people like, you see us, the podcasts, what you see in New Music
Respect the
Tuesdays.
DJs, respect the podcast.
People have to work kind of like, not just put it out there, like how we're talking, work
Yeah.
together. Like if
Community
New
building.
Music Tuesdays, I'm putting it in the stories. You know what I mean? Whoever's doing something, you share. You should we have an episode coming up with an artist maybe from America. You put him up in the stories, Down to Earth. When people do that, the algorithm is like, oh, who's these guys? Vice versa, right? My brother just came in. It's like if I show you, some people are gonna see who you are.
Yeah.
Vice versa. So that's networking. That's how I see the networking moving, right?
Yeah, man. There's social media etiquette, right? Like if somebody, if you tag somebody in a story and they share it, it's only respectful to reshare that share and say thank you for sharing. You know what I mean? Again, man, like we just really have to help each other and community build. You know, if you go look at like people who do rock music or punk music, they'll do a jam session and they're not checking how many followers you have. You know what I mean? Like they're not measuring each other's dicks and fucking and sticking out each other's chests, right? With hip hop, it's very like that, right? It's very hard to get community building because almost everybody feels like they're in competition with each other, which is fair because you know hip hop is competitive, right? But let's keep it on the record and behind the scenes, let's work together. You know what I mean? Like if you want to like do diss records or just have songs that are competitive in the same lane, that's cool. But just keep it on the record and let's get people working together and let's build a real Toronto hip hop community that expands outside of Toronto, expands all across Canada, expands overseas. And that's what I'm trying to do with New Music Tuesday. And I know you're trying to do the same thing.
Yeah. So yo, right now I see that you're gonna be doing an event soon coming up.
Yes. Let's talk about music. So first off, before I get into the event, I got 2 new singles out. One has been out and exclusively streaming on Indie Canada called Drinks in the Air. It will be on all streaming platforms June 27th. Then I have a new song called Bounce to the App that's out today, exclusively streaming on Indie Canada, and that will be on all streaming platforms. I forget the date, but I think it's late July. Anyways, Drinks in the Air is produced by Pretty Ugly, Toronto producer. Bounce the Yab is produced by Swan, and featuring Hyperbole and DJ Despair, which big ups to DJ Despair because he's putting on the event on Wednesday called Planet Paradise. It's a weed lounge. The lineup is huge. Myself, Swan, Resin, Fuego Gods, Usual Suspects, G Wonder, Mike North, and there's still so many more artists that I can't even think of. So definitely slide through. It's only $10 cover. Like I said, Planet Paradise downtown. Gonna be off the chain. I got another gig coming up in September at a 3-day music festival. I performed at it last year. I got accepted to play a bigger slot this year. So last year they like fit me in last minute, put me in at the very beginning of the festival. I opened up the festival with a half-hour slot. This time I get to play on the Sunday and I get an hour slot. So DJ Despair will be my special guest. So we'll be hitting that up. It's like a mixed music festival. So if you're not into all genres, you know what I mean? I'm sorry. But if you're into all genres, please come out. It's really cheap right now. Prices go up at the end of July, but like there's so many options. There's day passes for $15. There's weekend pass for $50. And then if you want to camp, it's like $30. And if you want to like pull up in an RV, I think you have to check the website for other costs. But like it's a good time. Vendors, Rock 95 even shows up. Indie Canada is going to be there representing it and trying to inform people about our app. So we got a lot of things going on, man. It just doesn't stop. Like, if you don't hustle, what the fuck you doing? You know what I mean? Go big or go home.
So tell me about the Indie Canada, because I talked to the brother the other day, and it's really interesting for artists to make like something from their art.
Yeah,
The Indie.
no, it was great to have you and Ryan speak, man. I was tapped in. It was great, and it's good, man. Indie Canada. We are new. We are doing like a soft launch, and like if people are on the app and they're seeing little bugs, please let us know, because that's how we're going to make the app better. So Ryan's been coding this thing for a couple of years, as he explained to you. And he just wants to change the music industry, man. Everything that the Canadian music industry does is so outdated, man. From everything from SoCan to how we all get paid royalty streams. You have to literally have like, you know, sold out shows of venues that are like 200 to 500 and have, you know, millions of streams in order to walk into Spotify or Apple office to negotiate a better rate of pay. Like me and you, we go get our 9 to 5 at a warehouse. We can discuss, negotiate a rate of pay with our boss. Like, how hard is it for an indie artist to get in front of a human being at a Spotify office? If you ain't fucking got millions of streams and you're selling out shows constantly, good luck. You know what I mean? You better know some people or be like sucking somebody's dick. You know what I mean? So it's really hard for indie artists to make money off of their art when you're getting paid fraction of a penny per stream, when you're doing shows for drink tickets or for exposure. People don't even realize that you got to pay to perform at Rolling Loud. You know what I mean? And it's like, if you're a rapper like me doing niche hip hop, it doesn't make sense to pay to be on a Rolling Loud stage. But somebody that's making more modern hip hop with the auto tune and the wavy and following the wave, it makes sense to pay for an artist, especially if they are established and want to take themselves to a next level, right? Like, I wouldn't say it was worth it for every artist making wavy music to pay for that spot. Maybe build up a small fan base before you go and take that leap and drop whatever it is Rolling Loud charges for a slot, right? So it's being smart about your music career and knowing where you're at instead of being delusional of where you're at. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like, what's next for you? Like, you guys doing these shows, right? Are you gonna have like any videos for your music coming out? Like,
so this is what we have in store for Indie Canada. Tomorrow, I'm actually going to be involved in the Indie Canada hip hop cipher. So we put out a call sheet, and anybody that was from Ontario that's an indie artist that wanted to partake in this hip hop cipher was allowed to submit. So we got 5 or 6 artists coming to the studio, recording their verses, and then we're going to film them as well in the studio, but also on location. So we have like the Toronto skyline in the back. So you're going to be seeing a Indie Canada hip hop cipher that represents all Ontario, and then we're going to be going province to province to be repeating this to keep on strumming up interest in Indie Canada. But on the flip side of the genres, on Tuesday we are at the Alma Combo, and there's 18 indie rock bands performing, and we're going to be like planning on interviewing every single one of them, filming their performances, so we have more content for Indie Canada, right? Because Indie Canada is not just going to be a streaming service; it's going to be the best of all worlds. It's going to include social media, where you're not going to have fascist Facebook fucking blocking your posts. It's going to have the best of YouTube, where you don't have to chase ever-changing YouTube monetization statuses. Stream your MP3s. There's going to be an Indie Canada TV. So like if you do podcasts, TV segments, like me and Despair are currently talking about bringing back Rap City. And we're just in the process of like thinking about what are we going to call it, logo, intro, you know what I mean? And start coming up with episodes, you know what I mean? Like hour-long Rap City episodes on Indie Canada, you know what I mean? Promoting Canadian talent, promoting other talents overseas and stuff like that. Because I've been talking to so many people with regards to Indie Canada. I have people interested in the app in America, South America, UK, Germany. Like I've just been so like constantly pitching and networking, and people just love the idea that you could get paid more for your streams, and it's kind of like the farmer's market idea. So instead of going to Loblaws and giving Galen Weston all your money because he's already a filthy prick and he's already fucking marking everything up high, buy price gouging on food. You got fucking people going to farmers market to support the local farmers, so that way it's more fresh and nutritious anyways. So the same idea is, why don't you come and see fresh, nutritious artists and support them so that they're getting paid? So like our whole goal is a genuine one. We're not trying to get rich and make it like, you know what I mean, and make off with the bag.
Trying to help the infrastructure.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it is. You need the DJs to have a network with each other. You need the artists to truly be networking with each other.
100.
The people who have venue. You need the venues. What kind of cater are inspired by hip hop? Because you really don't have them. They're all spread out. So there should be at least one or even two main venues where it's hip hop.
Have you heard of Lalo Brewery?
No.
So it's on College Street. Been a couple of events there. I know you're probably familiar with like Lord Juco and like Hassan Eastwood. Yeah. So I went down to Lord Juco's vinyl release party. It was an album release party, but he was selling his vinyl for the album that he did with Finn, and they held it at Lalo Brewery. And ever since, you know, I went to that event, I've been going back to Lalo on a regular basis, and just talking with the owner and talking with the bartenders and talking to people that are throwing events there. It's a small venue, but it's good. You don't want to, like, you know, be a small time artist and have a big venue and look like you have an empty audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, get a small place, pack it, do a show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we need to do that. Like you said, like different venues, like Lalo could be one of those spots, you know what I mean? And there's a few of them, right? Like there's some bigger ones, right? Like History just opened. There's one in Parkdale called, I can't remember what it's called, but like there's these bigger venues that are open, and it's just great because then it just gives opportunity for these small time artists to get bigger and then fill those bigger venues. But like we said, it's just all about community building and each one teach one and lend a helping hand. You know?
Like
no point of like pushing each other down and crabs in the bucket.
Like if you have a platform, how you're saying, like the places, that's like what people used to have, like Rap City, the listening, where you could go find like the shows, like how we're just talking right now. They need that. There's no one really doing that on social media, like saying, this club is gonna be having this event, these guys are gonna be here. You always have to search for like if a certain artist even comes from America. So if you have something where it's like the order that you can find the shows, right? That's what you need.
Yeah, and that's what's going to be so cool about the Indie Canada app is that, like, why pay fees to Bandcamp and Ticketmaster and StubHub when you can sell everything directly to your fan base and only pay the small dollar transactional fee of using a credit card, right?
Yeah.
Because Bandcamp takes a cut of every record you sell, every CD, every t-shirt you sell. TicketHub, StubHub, and Ticketmaster, they're fucking, you know, gouging prices because, you know, scalper are buying tickets in the masses and then turning around and selling them for a higher value. So some artists, like even big name artists, have been getting frustrated with, you know, feeling bad for their fans because they have to pay $300 for a fucking ticket. You know what I mean? When originally they put them on for $100, right?
That's what for me, like, you're right. Like, some music, you got to do more than music now. That's what I've seen for a long time.
Yeah, if you're not trying to open up many revenues in this music industry, if you're just trying to be an artist, it's going to be tough, man. Unless you come from like a silver spoon and you got daddy with the money bags. You know what I mean? Like, it's very expensive to record music, and then the return on it doesn't come as quickly as people.
You have to make sure you have some type of like return now. Like, it's like you know what I mean? If you could get like a loan, like where I seen Wiz Khalifa talking about, that's better. If you could get a loan from the bank instead of that's better than a record deal.
Yeah, you can do it many options, right? But like there's so many different options, right? If you're really smart about it, don't even do the loan, right? Because you gotta have to pay interest. So a smarter way would be like a Kickstarter. Offer your fans a package. Right? If you donate more than 100, you get the bundle package where you get the vinyl, the CD, the t-shirt. Or if you do 50 to 75, you just get a t-shirt and a CD. And then if you just donate 25, you just get a t-shirt. You know what I mean? And then that way, people that want to see you be successful will donate to the project.
Yeah,
and so,
that's what. You have to give something. That's what I'm getting to. Like, people want to see something like a t-shirt or a CD, like a package of, like, you get what I mean, you're giving them. all they want to see is that, and then you could your streams will come because you're using all of that to promote your music.
Yeah, if you're making good music, the quality is there, and you're a genuine, authentic person, and there's conviction in your music, most of it should come easy if you put the work in, right? But if you're not putting the work in, there's 8 million people out there, and 7 million of them want to be fucking rappers and artists. You know what I mean? So it's really hard to stand out in a saturated industry if you're not doing anything to be seen. People will call you corny for posting all the time, but at the end of the day, it's like, man, I'm just trying to get my music out there, man. Like, hate me or love me, you can just unfriend me or see less of my posts, and there's ways to not be annoyed by it. You know what I mean? Like, because everybody's sick of seeing artists post, but like, we're all doing it. Everybody wants to be a rapper, you know?
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you now, like, your top 6 rappers of all time.
My favorite 6 rappers of all time. Nas is definitely on there.
Nas.
He's definitely been a favorite of mine. Big Daddy Kane usually makes my top 10. He creeps into my top 5 depending on the day. So I definitely want to say Big Daddy Kane because he has been a big inspiration to my life. And he was like ahead of his time, you know what I mean? The guy was rapping, him, Cool G Rap, and Cool Mo D were really rapping multiple syllables and using bigger words to rhyme instead of using the, like, you know, 1-syllable words, you know? So have a lot of respect for Nas, Big Daddy Kane, Black Thought. I really am a fan of Black Thought and the Roots. What they've been doing, I don't know, man. New York and Philly rappers just always do it for me, man. They're always killing it. I would definitely have to put Biggie up in the top 5. That's a given. Everybody knows that. Even with the, you know, only 2 albums that he put out when he was alive, right? It's just crazy to say, but I think Big L should be also recognized, even though he only put out a couple albums. He had one of the sharpest punchlines. You know what I mean? Like, there's nobody ever that's been as sharp as him when it comes to punchlines. There are dope MCs that drop dope punchlines, but I just don't think
not like him.
anybody's embodied Big L. Like, I always say to people, like, the closest thing we ever had to Jordan when we come to talking to comparisons is Kobe, you know? And then so it's hard to say, like, there's never been somebody close to Biggie. And then I will say Shay Guevara, Shay Noor, sorry. I'm not sure if you know her. She's from Brooklyn. She's a female MC. She got an album with Apollo Brown. And on that album specifically, the beats are so like 90s hip hop. And she just has this butter-like flow that Biggie had. And so, like, she's not the closest thing we had to Biggie, but if there was somebody that was like smooth flow-wise as she is on that album, you know what I mean? And same with Big L. Like, who can we compare that's as close to Big L when it comes to sharpness? You know what I mean?
Nobody.
It's hard, man. It's hard, man. Like, and I think that's super unique of Biggie or super unique of Big L to like, after all these years, nobody's comparable to them. You know what I mean? And it just goes to show you how important it is to be unique and authentic. You know what I mean? But who else? I didn't finish the 6. Black Dot, Nas, Big Daddy Kane, Biggie, Sean Price, Sean P.
Sean Price?
I'm a big Boot Camp fan. As much as I was a big Wu-Tang fan, simultaneously I was listening to Boot Camp just as much. And Sean Price is probably one of those dudes that kept on being consistent, just kind of like Ghostface. Ghostface is like the most consistent MC out of the Wu-Tang, but I wouldn't say he's my favorite. Like, Raekwon only built for Cuban Links is definitely a classic and a banger for me. But then when you look back retrospectively on all Wu-Tang's albums and all their solo careers, Ghostface is definitely the most consistent. But I would say the same about Sean Price. So Sean Price definitely makes my top 5, 6.
That's a good lineup right there, yo.
Thank you.
So, yo, anything you want to tell the universe before we come off the spaceship where they could connect with you and everything? Like, man,
if you guys want to follow me on YouTube, it's Prospect Ave. Prospect is spelled with a K. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's DeeVeeUsWon. And then on my personal Facebook is Mickey Blunts. My artist page is Devious One, the regular spelling, DeviouSone. Definitely tap in. We got a lot of shit going on. Definitely come out to the show on Wednesday on the 7th. If you're into rock, come to the Alma Combo on Tuesday. And if you like mixed music festivals, you want to come camping with us and smoke it up, chop it up, make music, fucking sit in the bush. Let's go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
September's going to be wild, man. It's going to be a good 3-day music festival, and lots of networking and workshops are going on that weekend too. So it's even if you're an artist, you can reach out to the people running the organization, and they'll give you a super discount so that you can come and network, and you're not paying whatever the prices is that the general, fans are coming to pay,
Yeah.
So yeah, man, thank you for having me on your podcast, man. Again, I appreciate what you're doing.
Respect.
And definitely hope to see you on Wednesday night. You better come out.
Maybe, I don't know, but yo, I'll promote it, man. I keep promoting. You get what I mean? Always busy, but yo, Devious one, yo, much respect for coming through.
Thank you.
All you people gonna see it on YouTube, Rumble, everywhere on the audio platforms, and yo, see you back again. When we go straight to the YouTube.
We're gonna get you on Indie Canada too.
Yeah.
We're gonna get your show on Indie Canada.
Yeah,
so you're getting paid more.
yeah, that's how we do it.
All right.
Bless up, Devious.
Again, thank you, man.
Down to earth.